Okay, so I think I know how I want to go into this one, but I don't know if you've heard the recent news, but there's more Republicans considering resigning their seats because of the way that things are playing out. Give me 1 second. Okay, even. I want to say something and then have the cards confirm it or give more info. Okay. My analogy of everyone being on a stage in a big group and the director gave everyone little pieces of paper. Some of them have a 1, some of them have a 2. Maybe some of them even have a 3. Maybe like there's a row that steps forward when the director yells go and they get swept off the stage. AKA they go down in some kind of document. They're the ones who actually get in trouble for something. And then the back row steps or just aren't there anymore. They're somewhere else. Who knows? Anyways, and then the second row steps forward and they take some kind of leadership position. But then I feel like there's a third category as well, because my drawing was 1, 2, 3. And if that's replicated, it's another 1, 2, 3. So it would be the row that still remains in the shadows that is now, oh, it's the foreign. So row 1 that steps forward and gets swept off the stage, those are people right now in USA politics, allegedly. Then the second row steps forward and they take power. They are already in, oh, it's just dumping in my brain. Okay. Row 1 that steps forward and gets swept off the stage. Those were original US politic people who were corrupted, but also need to get out of the way. The second row that steps forward, they were never for the US. They are in the position where they appear to be, but they've always been infiltrated, putting the pieces of this plan together, allegedly. And then there's a third level, there's a number 3 in the little paper that they're opening. They are the ones who are actually controlling it now, that are behind the scenes, but they have a closer view because there will be a surveillance state that's able to happen because our homeland security is from Tel Aviv, which is not our homeland, you know? Math. So that third row that remains behind the scenes, and there's space for them because the other rows move forward. That's Israel, Russia. I think that's the main no, there has to be 3. Israel, Russia. Am I on the right track? Physical evidence in reverse. They don't want us to have evidence of what? Obstruction, interference in reverse. Hidden interference. They don't want us to see the hidden interference. Confirm? Suspicious activity, but shut up about it. Be the third one. China. I almost feel like the third one is meant to look like it's one country, but it's actually another. Does that make sense? Think of it as a 3-headed snake behind the scenes that is about, and again, God wins, but this is a show that we need to watch in the meantime, because we need to uphold not losing the faith that God wins in the end. Anyways, so I feel like it's Israel, Russia. And I feel like the third one, it's meant to look like it's one country, but it's actually another, that are really behind the scenes pulling the strings right now, allegedly. Justice delayed. Because God wins in the end, but we need to watch the show first so that we have the opportunity to choose with our own free will if we're going to choose the light or the dark. Network disruption in reverse. not disrupt it? Are you going to choose the network, the actual blueprint of the human journey and why suffering is necessary so that we can evolve? But that when we use that suffering to hurt others, it stops the process of evolution. So collectively, we need to choose to not believe the illusion, because when we're believing the illusion, we're in a state of fear. And when we're in a state of fear, we're not evolving. When we separate from fear and don't buy into the show that they're playing, we're able to evolve. And what does evolution mean? It means we get past the state that we're in right now, where we think it's acceptable to have leaders in positions of power that are telling us to our face that they don't care about us. Exit strategy. Allegedly. So they're considering resigning their seats because they're emergency broadcast. Because they're amping up the show. Anyone who resigns their seat is someone who was in that front row and needs to be swept off the stage because they can't be trusted to uphold the illusion. What is the illusion? Fear. That there's something to fear. Mistrial. Mistrial is when you don't have enough evidence to prove something is real. They will try to uphold the illusion, but truth does not yell, it outlasts. That's how God wins, besides other ways. Because once this show plays out to the extent that it needs to and everyone sees it for what it is, it breaks the illusion. Some people are still under the illusion right now. That's why it's still playing out. Not blaming them, just there's people who still look at the government that's in place right now and think that the ones who lit the fire and created the barricade around it to strand us in the rubble, they still think they're coming back to put the fire out and build us a castle. Ain't happening. We are the ones who stop the illusion when we stop believing that it's real. And we have the first choice to do that right now. Because what they're telling us and what they're showing us are not the same. They're trying to have us question what is real. But they're trying to have us answer that from a place of fear because they're trying to scare us while asking us the question, what is real? So to answer your question, they're considering resigning their spots because it's part of the show and they're in that front row that was originally on the US side and got turned, and now they can't be trusted to uphold the illusion for the rest of the time that they're running this particular play. Mysterious absence. That's where they're going, allegedly.